Good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am El-Rufai. I'm sorry we're coming a bit behind schedule, but we're here now. So sorry about that. Now our guest is Senator Shehu Sani. Man needs very little introduction. He's, among other things, he's a playwright, human rights activist, and a politician. Senator Sani, a fine morning to you.
Yeah, good morning and thank you for having me.
My pleasure. We want to have your take, and we'll talk about the polity generally, but your take on this whole 2027 forces coalition, forces coming together to unseat President Tinubu. And because it's a democracy, so it is their right to try to do. But what are your thoughts about this? On the one hand, you know, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, former Governor El-Rufai, even former Governor Rotimi Amechi, quite a number of, you know, heavyweights in there. Babacha Lawa, a lot of people. So what are your thoughts on the doability of this project for the opposition?
Well, thank you for having me once again. Well, first of all, if we are to go by history, especially what happened in 2014, you will see that there was an alliance or coalition or merger of different political parties. And at that time, it was a section of the PDP. Then you have CPC, you have ACN, ANPP, and even part of ABGA. They all decided at that time to sacrifice their own individual political interests for the common good of Nigerians. And then they came together, and then we formed what became the APC. And that is very necessary in the history of African politics of recent. And you have seen how it worked in Botswana, and you also see how it works in Senegal, where political parties came together, formed a coalition, came up with one candidate, and then challenged the ruling party and emerged victorious. But in the present time, you can see discordant forces from different political parties. They don't have that cohesiveness, that urgency of the need for them to come together, or they face a serious problem at the end of the day. Now, the SDP came up with a statement through its chairman, if I'm right. He said they are not ready for any coalition. You just have to join their party. Now, PDP too made their own statement. They are not ready for any coalition or alliance. And they are the biggest opposition.
Yes.
And NMPP, headed by Konkoso, also made that statement. So you can see these are the three major political parties in the country. And if each one of them can come out openly and say he's not ready for coalition, it means they are going to the battle with a divided house. So I don't think that a divided opposition can evict the ruling APC out of power. And the problems they face are clear, that they are not ready to sacrifice their own individual political interests and ambition. If you look at it, most of those who are raising issues are disgruntled and the angry and discontent, the marginalized. But they are also necessary in coalition. But the point is that you see, you need that spirit of sacrifice for a coalition of forces to now focus on the ruling party to evict them of power. But they don't have it. And if they go to the 2027 battle on this form, it's a clear victory for the APC and the president. So you cannot, first of all, start stabbing yourself at this very time, and at the end of the day, blame the person who won as a person that alleged that he had rigged election. What happened in in 2023 was the same thing. Atiku led the PDP, and then Obi was in Labour Party, and there were problems in the PDP with the 5 governors pulling out, and they went with a divided vote, and Kwankwaso was also not part of it. So if you put the votes of Obi, Atiku, Kwankwaso, they almost doubled the votes of Aswaju, Ahmed Bola Tinubu. So it was that kind of fractionalization that led to the situation they found themselves. So if they continue on that path, the end result is very clear. So that is my little opinion on that.
And additionally, thank you very much. And additionally, there are reports, maybe commentators, are sort of deducing that an additional problem is the coalition is virtually divided along regional lines. There are those among them who are saying that, okay, the objective is to unseat Tinubu democratically. If that is the case, then that slot still has to be in the South. And there are those that, of course, are pushing for Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to be a consensus candidate. How the other, I think those are the two main, my guess. Well, Obi is also in there. He was represented at the meeting of the coalition. I think those are the main, contestants in terms of seeking a presidential seat. So how much of a problem do you think that is? The idea of, well, if we're going to do this, then it has to remain in the South. And some people within that coalition saying that Atiku's ambition will be pushed.
You see, when you are coming up with a political equation like this, you have to factor so many things before you take the ultimate decision on what to do. Still going back to 2014, there was a consensus built around General Muhammadu Buhari, because that time the president of the country was a Southerner. So if at this very time here, Buhari spent 8 years in power, and then you have someone from the South that has spent 4 years in power. So a serious coalition that is conscious of the political traps and flashpoints in the country, and also is conscious of our history, will have zeroed in on the fact that let's all presidential candidates from the North, at least in this coalition, sacrifice their ambition for the common good of challenge so that we can get a block vote from southern part of Nigeria. But if you are from the South and you don't like President Aswaju or his government, and you have gotten into a coalition, then the best way is for you to be more comfortable if the next candidate also comes from the southern part of Nigeria, whether he is Peter Obi or any other person. But now you are from the South, you don't like Aswaju, and then the options you are being given is for power to go back to the North for another 8 years. So how does that work? So at least a serious coalition will take cognizance of the sensitivity of our history and our own geopolitics, that here is a Southerner who spent 4 years in power, and that it is morally right to have another Southerner to challenge him, so that there will be a block vote from the South. But here we are. The options that seems to be tabled before them is that the person who can remove him out of power should come from northern part of Nigeria. So it is a sweet, bitter situation for people in the coalition. And how, to me, I feel that it is better for northern presidential candidate to at least, even those of them who are in the coalition, to sacrifice their own ambition for someone from the South to contest. And if they don't do that, we will end up in that kind of situation which happened before. You have a northern candidate against a southern president who has spent 4 years. And then it will be at the advantage of the ruling party to go around and make statement. 2027 is so close, but still so far. So it is important that the leaders of the coalition could have put fact to this. But for the very fact that they are not even ready to all come together,
yes,
and fight, makes it a problem. And why is it so? Some of the ruling parties, or the opposition parties, feel that if they go into a coalition, many of those political lords and godfathers are going to lose their own positions. But if you look at it in 2014, the chairman of ANPP has to go, who was then the became minister of that is Abonda Onu. And then the chairman of PDP has to go, the chairman of ABGA has to go. They all agreed that they're going to have one party. But in this situation, if you read the lines of the interviews granted by leaders of the opposition, it seems that if you want to contest, simply join our party and contest election. And if that is the situation, it's going to be very difficult for the opposition to. Democracy allows coalition, it allows alliance, it allows a sort of kind of merger. And in Africa, if you look at how strong a ruling party is, like the one we have in Senegal, the president Macky Sall has to be challenged by the President Abdullah, because the party in power now has to reach out to as many movements, groups, individuals, political parties come together, and then they were able to achieve their goal. But there is that kind of arrogance that join us or you shouldn't, we're not going to go along with you. For Atiku Abubakar, I think he is in one of his most complex period in his own political history, because the options are before him. He remains in a PDP where you have forces that are most evidently stronger than him in control of that party. And then, he leaves the party that has about 9 to 8 governors, which is the PDP, and go to a party that has 2 or 3 senators. And then he starts afresh. So for me, I think the coalition, if they want to make things easier for people that need an alternative, individual ambition need to be sacrificed. And I don't see the situation where Konkosu will come into an alliance with the SDP or Labour Party or any of these parties. So the major opposition party, the SDP, if there is any alliance, it should have been the leader of the alliance, because they are the ones who have the most of senators, most of members of House of Reps, most of governors. They're supposed to be leading the alliance, but look at the situation in which it has found itself. It's almost in a state of epilepsy or paralysis. So that one is gone. And the SDP, the chairman has made it clear that they prefer you to join them, because they knew that problems that have to do, they raised issues about problems of coalition or alliances. And then the NPP led by Konkoso have also made a clear statement that they will not join. So we may likely, this could play to the advantage of the APC and then see Aswaju be re-elected, and then they will start blaming each other for one thing or another, while they will not blame themselves.
You know, you're so right. I mean, because people are reading it, even those who are not necessarily politically savvy can see aspects of what you have spoken about. SDP as a vehicle, even the arrival of Malam Nasir El-Rufai in the party, so to speak, it caused some disquiet, as you know, and they sort of try to iron out those creases. But I don't know, the arrival of El-Rufai, who, you know, claims that there's been a departure in the ruling APC, his party, he was part of the formation of the party, that there have been some misalignment between their stated philosophies and what has actually happened. So a viewer called in when we were talking about, you know, this has been going on for quite a while now. A viewer called in and said that as far as she can see, there's no other way to call it. This is really all about hatred for the incumbent, maybe political hatred. I don't think any of them, every one of them hopefully is mature enough to not be wallowing in those kind of personal foibles. But political hatred is what is thought by some to have brought about this situation. Even desperation. And choosing the SDP, did they think that they were doing the SDP any favors by saying, you know, we're all going to come under your umbrella and it'll be a coalition and we'll unseat the ruling party?
Well, you see, I will talk in two stages. The first stage is that if you join a political party and you are a force to be reckoned with, you naturally have to see thousands of people or millions of people behind you to add value to that political party. And when Kwankwaso pull out of the PDP or APC, you see millions of people and big-time politicians moving along with him. And when we pulled out of the PDP in Kaduna, you can just Google and see what happened, search and see. You see, we came in with senators, with members, House of Reps, and thousands of people were all there. But if someone joins the SDP, and then each time he conducts interview, they ask him, "You're here?" He said, "Yes." "Where are others?" He said, "They are soon coming, they are soon coming." And then secondly, the same person you will see granting interview and say, "Come and join, come and join." So it appears that he's simply lonely in that place. And you know, what happens to him is the law of karma. When you are in power, you should always remember that a day will come when you will be out of power. And they said the evil that men do lives after them. All the persecution, all the abuse of power, all the unlawful use of power and brigandage that comes with it, you will pay the price out of it. Because of him, there are people who are skeptical about joining that political party. It's a fact. You may pick him for being vocal and for being a latter-day critic or opponent of Aswaju, but you will have a look at his own track record. If he comes from a state like our own Kaduna, what was his last track record? As a governor of our state, who was an APC governor, by the time he left office, and his own presidential candidate, which was Aswaju, couldn't win Kaduna State. That is one. Secondly, the ruling party lost about 3 senatorial seats to the PDP. And out of 14 House of Representative seats, PDP won 9. And even in the governorship election, with the candidate, which is my friend and brother Oba, that he claimed to have provided for people in Kaduna, the difference was 11,000. So you can see that that was the record he came with into a party. And then you look at his own track record. Will the people from southern Kaduna, Plateau, Benue, and other places join the SDP? when they see a personality like that. And with the people of Northern Kaduna, who have suffered a lot, with thousands of workers retrenched, thousands of teachers sent aside, and many homes demolished, will they join the SDP when such a personality is there? These are all questions you need to, but it's okay. But my own issue is that if he is an asset, you will have seen big names and thousands of people all joining along with him. But he's still there, saying that they are soon coming. Oh, please come and join. This is a situation in which the party has found himself. But SDP is a good party. It has history, and I believe that for every reason that people who want to join can go and join. There is nothing wrong with that. But the point is that if it has to make any impact and be relevant to itself, all the opposition party must come together. You can't form a coalition without Konkoso. You can't form a coalition without the PDP. You can't form a coalition without parties that have 1 or 2 senators there. But the situation which they are in today is that they want to fight a ruling party, but they want to go with a divided house. And how, when you are fighting a ruling party, you're up against the controller of levers of power. You are up against resources in billions of naira. You are up against security forces. You are up against the might of the incumbency. And how will you be able to do that? Look at what our politics is all about today. A good man, a morally sound person, a simple man who wants to venture into politics, the first thing they will tell you, they are not interested about your ideas, what you want to do for the masses, how you want to achieve it. The first thing they will ask you, do you have money? And this is not just money to buy form. It's money to win primary elections, money to share to the people who are going to vote, money to do so many things. Then if you don't come together as a coalition, how will you be able to achieve that? Look at the electorates today. People are collecting rice, people are collecting maggi, people are collecting money, people are buying votes for elections. So if you don't come together, how will you be able to achieve that? There is an adage in Hausa which says, Sarkin yawa, yafu sarkin karfi. It is when you come together in bulk that you'll be able to fight and then eject the ruling party. But in a divided house, they're just wasting their time. A time will come, election will be conducted, and the APC wins, and then they start saying it's been rigged. Oh, the point is that, but no, whether the problems in the ruling party, in the opposition party, whether it's been engineered by the president or ruling party, but that is what politics is all about. You have to sow crisis in the camp of your enemy. You have to be interested in what your political foe is doing. To sow discord among in him is all part of the strategy of battle and also part of the strategy of politics. So the situation which they found themselves today will take them nowhere as far as I'm concerned.
You know, from the public point of view, all we can only say what was reported upon, and it's not all that is reported upon in political matters. Some, because it is what the politicians themselves want to be reported, that they have a way of leaking. And I'm referring here to, it is well known that El-Rufai has a monumental respect for, President Buhari, and he said he never makes any political move without consulting. And, so he gave he implied that in his action he had consulted, but very, very shortly after that, I think, well, there were some dramatic headlines as Buhari throws El-Rufai under the bus. But between him, we can see his traditional posture of respect whenever he was with Buhari. And for Buhari to now say that, he doesn't have, he's not going anywhere. He's an APC man forever. And I don't know, did that also rob him of some credibility. Well, the word credibility, it just came out. I'm not referring to the man himself, but you know what I mean. The whole seriousness of his move, trying to use Buhari in terms of, at least I consulted, and Buhari coming back and saying that he's not going anywhere. So if he's not going anywhere, he would have dissuaded, I imagine, anybody who came to him with the idea of moving out. It would be to the detriment of President Buhari's party. Does that count for much? Does that count for anything?
Well, you see, the person you are talking about, Nasiru, has a history of name dropping and always aligning his own predicament to one person or another, or issues. That when he became the BPE DG, he said it was Atiku that he was invited to come and take. When he became the minister, he said he was invited to come and take. When he became the governor, he said he was invited to come and now, even his failed ministerial bid, he said he was invited. He was always invited. He never said so when he now joined the SDP, he's also applying the same sentiment and logic which he always uses. So I don't take that very seriously. But I don't think that Buhari will have asked any person to join any party other than the APC, knowing that this was the party that made him what he was, and also the party that made him to realize his ambition, and the party that he helped to form, to leave it and then join an SDP that has a root under Babangida's transition program, knowing the history of Buhari and Babangida. I don't think that Buhari will ever do such a thing. But you can see that there was a statement issued, which was, I think, signed by Garba Shehu, the media aide of Buhari. And though they respectfully try to avoid name calling, but they have made a point very clear that they are not in consonance, they are not in sync, they are not in tandem with what the former governor of Kaduna State said. So he's just making it up. So I think it's important that if he wants to fight, he should bring himself forward. If he wants to contest the presidency, he should just dust his cap and start contesting for the presidency. Stop hiding under Atiku or Buhari or anybody. If you want to be president, say you want to be president, come and contest election and then see how far you are going to go. But the point is very clear for us as a country, that Nigeria is a democracy, but it's a fragile democracy.
Yeah.
Whatever we're going to do, we must protect and preserve the sanctity of Nigeria. The Southern is in power for 4 years, so the coalition should consider that, because they too should know that political choices have consequences. If the power now shifts to the northern part of Nigeria, what will become of many of these issues? But for now, they are not ready to come as a coalition, and it's a clear path being cleared for the ruling APC and the President Tinubu.
Indeed. Okay, then, Senator Sani, we'll take a quick break now. Do please. Okay, welcome back. And if you're just joining us, indeed, welcome. Our guest is Senator Shehu Sani. He's a human rights activist, a former senator of the Federal Republic, but of course, once a senator, you're a senator for life. And he's our guest this morning. He's also a playwright. And so thank you very much, Senator Shehu Sani. All sorts of things will be brought to bear in a campaign such as this. And I'm remembering here the trying to the recent action of the president, the state of emergency that he declared in River State. Of course, there's been so much talk, hullabaloo. It's almost equally divided as to what needed to be done was what was done, but then there's a pushback from, people in the coalition, especially Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who has said that it's undemocratic, and he even tried to incite the National Assembly against approving it, but that failed, as we all know. I don't know. Everything is in war. All is fair in love and in war, as they say. Or what is it?
Well, it's important we go through the history of state of emergency in Nigeria briefly. The first state of emergency that was imposed in this country was done by Tafawa Balewa, who happens to be a northerner. The crisis in the western region between Akintala and I think Alhaji Dauda or something like that. And which led to, which led to a state of emergency being imposed, and then Tafawa Balewa brought in his own personal physician, Dr. Maje Kundumi, to serve as an administrator for a period of time. So that was the beginning. Fast forward to Obasanjo administration. Obasanjo did the same by removing Dari over the religious killings in Plateau State. And let's go back to the public opinion at that very time. Many northerners, particularly Muslims, were in support of Obasanjo for taking that action. And Christians all over, and southerners from part of the country were in support of Dari over the state of emergency declaration plan. And then the House of Assembly problems that happened in Ekiti, which led to removal of 5C and the imposition of state of emergency. And in both cases, administrators were all imposed. So, to me, in the case of Rivers State, though I'm not from Rivers State, so my views may not be of much importance, but I would say that if there could have been a better way, is to allow Fubara and the State Assembly to remain in office as democratic structures and to address the problem. But time and again, there have been intervention by the president to resolve the conflict. It failed. There was intervention by South-South leaders led by Ike Clark. It failed. There was intervention by state governors, intervention by religious leaders. All failed. Resolving the problems of Rivers State has defied a legal judicial solution, because with all the pronouncement by the courts and the Supreme Court has not brought peace. It also defied political solution, because all the peaceful negotiation that were all made also couldn't produce result. It also defied even spiritual solutions, because there are a lot of prayer for solving the problems of rivers. They failed. So now, what will have been, what it should have been is that the president should have, ideally, allow the democratic structures to resolve. Governor Balaribe Musa, and I think since that very time, the history of impeachment began. So to us as Nigerians, Rivers is too sensitive, too important for us to allow it simply to go into crisis. My own suggestion should be, I must be very frank with you, the public opinion or online public opinion is that the president shouldn't have dissolved democratic structure. That is the online structure. That is the online public opinion.
Okay.
But as the president of a country,
I didn't want to
public opinion.
Okay,
But as a president of a country,
I didn't want to interrupt you, Senator Sonny. I beg your pardon.
Peace and security. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I didn't pardon.
Peace and security. Yes.
I'm so sorry. I didn't want to interrupt you, but now Mazi Okorafo, he's been holding on for almost 5 minutes. He's been holding on for almost 5 minutes. Good morning, Mazi.
Who are going to be the president? That is the question. Presidency for 2027 is for staff. For 2027 is for staff. Who are going to be president? Because when the North staff, who are going to be president? Because when the North say they want to be president, all the South South, all the North, all the South South are started. Even the South South, all the North, all the South South are started. Everybody relax and allow the North. Why is it that now that the South is now out of them, you see all these opposition parties coming up now fighting back? It doesn't make sense. Just say it's not my
referred to as the serial, contestant. But he's not a contestant. But he's not. Many people think he's not going to give up that. Many people think he's not going to give up that ambition, and so to do this ambition. And so to do the thing that is expected, the way you have explained it, which is Atiku, get behind whoever is campaigning for a southern replacement. That is, people should not hold their breath if they want that to happen. That's not. And you just explained how you can't see a situation where Kwankwaso will be in any kind of a scenario like this. In any kind of a scenario like this. It's just not.
You see somebody on your street. You say this guy is somebody on your street. You say this guy is intelligent. You want to help him to go to intelligent. You want to help him to go to America. People in the street say, no, don't help him. America. People in the street say, no, don't help him. You see, sir, you help me to go to America. In terms of America, you see, sir, you help me to go to America. In terms of America, the first person you want to invite, the first person you want to invite, those people they say, don't send him. The enemy of, that's exactly those people they say, don't send him. The enemy of, that's exactly it. So we have to work out to, bring this man.
Okay. So emergency in Rivers.
Bring this man.
Okay. So emergency in River State. Senator, did you have anything? Emergency in River State. Senator, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, the only thing I will add is the way forward.
Okay.
State of emergency has happened already.
Yeah.
So where do we move from here? Where we should move from here is for the stakeholders in River State, Odili, Fubara, Wiki, State Assembly members, sit down and implement the peace accord that they will all agree to. And that is fine for the country, so that this state of emergency does not extend beyond September. So he returns to his seat and then everything goes well.
Indeed.
I've said it in a number of times that there are three alternatives. I have been sitting around thinking of what will have been the alternative to the position which Aswaju has taken. The alternative is to allow everything to continue to be with the confrontation going on. But what will have been the end? You see, if you are a politician and also you are, your own thinking will be different from a public commentator or a spectator from a very far. If a governor of a state is served a notice of impeachment, what will be done to stop it? Yeah. That is the most important thing to do. Yeah. Because if you don't stop it, it will happen.
It will happen.
And if it happens, nobody will say that it has not happened through a democratic means. We are all living witness to how lawmakers from Bielsa were brought to Abuja to impeach Governor Alamese. It happened. And nobody said that is not democratic. So to me, River State is as important as we are. People love Fubara. for the fact that he comes from an Ijaw ethnic nationality and he's a state governor. There is no doubt about that. But Wike played a very important role in the emergence of Fubara. He sacrificed everybody. He fought everybody. He fought the EFCC, fought the political stakeholders, fought the party, fought everyone to bring Fubara to office. And he also controlled the State House of Assembly. So when you are putting all this in an equation, you will see there is no better way than to resolve this problem through peaceful dialogue, and that is what is needed.
Okay, Senator, we've run out of time.
Emotions.
Yes. You've rested it at a lovely place. What would have been the option is the question, the important question you had asked.